are Local Links, and we are business connectors. And thank you guys for being a part of our final mastermind session of the year. And we're going to kick off with letting you all know that we're changing our format just a little bit, not too much, but Brian and I have thought really hard about what we're doing over the next 12 months, really 13 months, because we're kind of starting today. So the first thing is that education, all of the stuff that we do on the front end, is going to be, for the most part, moving. We're going to really focus on having that content over on our YouTube channel, on our LinkedIn profile, and sharing that through our newsletter that we do every month. So we wanted to make sure that we still provide the educational content because so many of our members find it valuable, but we also want to do more of this. Number two, here, the big idea, give you all more of what you love anyway, do more of the mastermind. And then third, we're committing to starting on time unless Brian is off-site and unprepared. So we failed day one, but we're going to pick that up and do better next time. So I had to jibe him. But today we're going to be talking about five questions that we believe every entrepreneur should be asking themselves to be planning for 2022. So the first one is, what took my time this year? And as this new format gets kicked off, we're going to do, instead of having 15 to 20 minutes of an education segment, we're going to do what we like to call the mastermind. So everyone here can just chime in. What took your time this year that you don't want to have take your time next year?
I'll start off.
All right.
So for me this year, I've been in development. I don't want to say hell, but I've definitely been in, as a non-tech founder, I've been in a lot of development meetings that I need to be in, but they are eating up my time because I'm not the tech founder. And so my goal for 2022 is to bring on a full, or at least 3/4 CTO to help give a little bit of that time back to my other more priority-based activities. So Matt, what about you?
Yeah, so for me, I am actually going to stop doing some client work. So there's more to it than that, but I've noticed that some of the client work that I have taken part in, not only this past year, but in previous years, it's really not super fulfilling to me. I'm not the best at it. And while I give clients value, I don't give them really the best value for their time invested with me. So I'm just going to stop doing that. What about you guys? Tamiza, I got to say, I love the headband as always. You always come prepared for these holiday shows.
And I always had to make sure I'm kind of low enough in my screen so you could actually see them. My year took a different spin than I had started off the year. And so what I really decided that I am wanting to focus on to carry into next year is creative things come first. And that's really what makes me feel better. And I have so many ideas to get out there. So it's just going to be a different year than this current year. But I am enjoying it and exploring new things. Ages and ages ago, I think I told you all I was going to write a mystery. And that is still in the works, but some other foodie things have come forward more. And I've already written a couple foodie themed memoir story in rhyming poem form, which was something I never thought I would do, but I like it and I'm going to keep doing it.
All right. I love it. Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, I mean, my time at the beginning of the first half of the year, obviously with COVID restrictions and everything else, me being new to the sales industry and software industry, it was just a lot of absorbing, product knowledge. And once I kind of got a grasp of what we were doing, my company continued to grow at a really rapid rate. So there was a lot of new things to learn throughout the year. And I'm going to next year dedicate that time for the learning to be kind of off hours and to avoid like interrupting the prospecting time and client meeting time. So we've implemented some good systems on recording calls and recording videos and training sessions and that kind of thing. So we can kind of do that at our leisure, as opposed to like, oh, it's 9:30 in the morning and you should be out, prospecting. Let's, avoid that next year and actually do the training and product knowledge later on. So we've improved that vastly, and I'm looking forward to that not being an obstacle next year.
That's awesome. So
hey, Jack, are you considering using time blocking to help you kind of define that time better?
I have been doing that on my own. I live and die on my calendar. But some things, for the first half of the year, especially, it was kind of set by corporate. You had to be at this meeting at this specific time. So kind of like, if I didn't attend to those meetings at those times, I was not effective at my job. So we've come up with better systems, from a corporate level down to help us kind of be prepared in the future.
That's If no one's here heard of time blocking is something that I've been kind of paying attention to for the past year and a half, very much more so than I ever have, and it's a valuable way of almost pre-planning your day, even if it's not specifically planning the tasks themselves. So let's see, who else? Mary, what took your time this year? What ate up your time?
I got to find the mute button.
Yeah.
Finding that mute button is taking a lot of time, huh?
Well, I was thinking of this as you posed the question, but it was a very productive year for me. I'd love to be able to replicate it and improve on it, actually. I enrolled 6 new customers last month, so it feels like I'm going to enroll 4 this month. Amazing in December. But Colleen's group has been a great catalyst for meeting people who want to lead healthier lives. So that was very positive to have found the group. And I see many of them on today. And it's been positive, actually.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So I think that's a great opportunity to kind of move forward to our next question. What gave me back my time this year?
Zoom meetings, not having to spend so much time.
Yes. Not
That's
traveling.
So true.
Not factoring in the commute. Absolutely.
I would say for me, we're talking about the time blocking. Definitely the Zoom meetings are so helpful, but going back and actually being a little bit more specific on my time blocking, because what I would do is I would set aside I'm going to set aside 2 hours to work on this client. And then I have an hour for a meeting. And then I'm going to do the next 2 hours or 3 hours to get everything done I need to do for this client. And now what I've started to do is do it in smaller increments. And I used to think people were crazy by just doing 30-minute increments, because I read this book that's it's called The One Thing, and it's all about how multitasking really isn't a thing. And so it's like you need to finish one task, and you will do it more efficiently if you do one task completely and then move to the next task. So I was like, how can anybody get anything done in 30 minutes? But now I've found that I'm so much more on it. If I have 30 minutes to complete this task, I'm doing it because I only have 30 minutes. Whereas if I was setting aside that big chunk of time, I was like, oh, I have a little bit of time. And if I had 2 hours to do something, I took that 2 hours instead of really focusing my day and being 30 minutes done, moving on to the next one. So being a little bit more specific with my time has really helped me.
I love that. Whose law is that? Can anyone tell us whose law that is?
Oh, I totally knew. Hold on. I'm going to cheat and look it up.
Well, Maura, one thing to add into that, you should consider looking into the Pomodoro timer.
Okay.
As that it's a process of setting intention for every moment in your day. Especially when you say you got 30 minutes, right? And yet also still factoring in a moment at least to breathe, because your brain needs that kind of offset of a little bit of breath.
Next, I'm gonna factor in because I wasn't doing time for lunch and I wasn't doing time for like things like that, going to the bathroom and like just taking
Meaningful
some
breaks.
next,
yeah.
next I'm gonna like actually have chunks of like, okay, now this is like my marketing chunk of time. This is my client chunk of time, but like it's very specific. But I have little post-its that I put all over my board and I love ripping them off when I'm done with the task and like throwing it away. It's very, very satisfying.
That sounds super cathartic. Well, hey, Matt, you want to, where are you at on the breakout rooms? I think we should probably go through the remaining questions and then send everybody off into their breakouts.
Yes, I agree. So we'll save these. I'll go through them pretty quickly. But so what took my money this year? You can kind of sense a theme. What did you have to spend money on? What made you money this year? And then finally, did I enjoy what made me money? And I think we don't ask ourselves this question enough. It's something that can be really powerful in figuring out what you don't like doing in your business. And then thinking of ways, if you did enjoy what made you money, awesome, keep doing it, do more of it, and figure out ways that you can do more of it. If you didn't like what made you money, like you're just kind of tired of doing that thing, how can you either stop it? I like to say the ADD method of automate, delegate, or delete. How can I automate it? How can I delegate it? Or should I just delete it? So we'll leave you with those 3 questions and we'll jump into the breakout rooms.